Pretty Women Hustle. I am so excited to be here with you for another series. And this series is special because we are channeling women, female authors. And as we all know, there's so many aspiring authors out there, and we need to know the ins and outs. We need to know why, how, what can we do to share our stories. So over the next few weeks, we are highlighting female authors who are leading in their industries. We're highlighting females who have broke those glass ceilings and shared their story to encourage other women. So tonight we have with us Tammie. Hi.
Hi, how are you? And thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to speak about my journey and my book.
Awesome. I'm so glad you joined me for our very special series because, like I said, this is a series that female aspiring authors need. We need to know, how do we get started? Where do we go from here? And a lot of times people don't want to share that knowledge. So I feel like this is important. If you're new here, I'm Jakia Cheatham, Myles, the founder and creator of Pretty Woman Hustle. We are a platform dedicated to highlighting and promoting women in business and in faith. And like I said, today we have with us Tammie. Tammie is an author, U.S. Army Sergeant, first class retiree, certified life coach, and she currently works for the Veterans Administration as a legal administrative specialist. She holds a master's degree in psychology and management, a green belt certification in Lean Six Sigma, and has taken numerous military and civilian training courses. She received a certificate of appreciation from President Barack Obama upon her retirement from the Army after serving over 26 years. Thank you, Tammie, for your
Thank
service.
you for saying that. I do appreciate that.
Yes. And tonight we're discussing your amazing book. And I want to share with you all the summary of her book and what it's about, okay? Her book, War After the Military, has been featured in Pretty Woman Hustle, um, and Sony and Swank, and Authority magazines. She has been featured on the Ty Bentley Show, Get a Hero Hired, and as a guest on Dreamspire Media's Author Lounge. She is a member of the National Coalition of 100 Black Women and spends much of her time volunteering in the community. Tammie has been married to her husband, Innocent Atuko, for 19 years, and they have two children, two grandchildren, and an amazing son in law. Beautiful.
Thank you.
So tonight we are live and we are discussing all things entrepreneurship. If you ever had a thought of writing a book and sharing your story or testimony, this show is for you. With War After the Military, she gives insight into what happens mentally, physically, emotionally, and financially to transitioning military personnel and those who love and depend upon them. This book will address questions about the military, life of a soldier, and provide valuable resources for veterans and their families. Tammie speaks from her own perspective as an African American woman about her life, military journey, and the years of adjustments after service. All right, Tammie, I have so many questions for you tonight because I really want to dig deep into, the meaning of this book, the inspiration, and the process.
Yes.
So, first things first, how did we develop the interest in writing? Because your background includes being an Army veteran, you're a life coach, you're an author, you do so many things. So, how did your interest start?
Well, my interest actually started in journaling. When you leave the service, there's a lot of emotions behind. It's a very emotional process. And through journaling, I was able to just, reflect on the past 26 and a half years of service. And I just really started to journal more and think about, what I had been through. And I realized that my story was unique. 26 and a half years in the service, in the Army, as an African American woman. I really felt like I had a very unique story. I thought about the people that I wanted to thank that helped me through my journey of those 26 and a half years. And so I had a conversation with a classmate one day, and she said, "Well, once you retired, what are you going to do?" I said, "Well, now that I retired, I have so much time to spend with family. But I really think about those 26 and a half years, and I have a lot of information. I could probably write a book." And she said, "Yeah, you could probably call it maybe War After the Military." And I actually wrote down that title. She gave me the title to my book. She had been a former spouse of a military person, so I knew she had some insight on the journey. So that's where it started.
Wow. That's amazing. And to be able to have that title and you're able to build around it. That's awesome. So when did you realize that, okay, you know what? I'm writing. What I have here is a story and it needs to be shared.
I felt like I had a story, and I definitely wanted something to leave to my grandson. That's where it really started. I said, if I document everything that I went through in the military and put it into a book, they will have something that they can
Yeah.
cherish and they can talk about and say, you know what, this is my grandmother. So I felt like it was important enough for them. I felt like it was important enough to be able to thank my mother for everything that she has done for me, to document the fact that I'm an Army brat and pull from that experience, and also talk about my grandmother who has had a lot of strength and as a big influence in my life. So I definitely wanted to give flowers to those people that I loved, and I felt like needed to be highlighted in my story. And also, I have an aunt, Aunt Dorothy, who was very instrumental in helping me through my journey and building my faith.
Awesome. So to be surrounded by so many people that believed in what you were doing and attributed to your success like that is amazing.
Thank you.
Um what was the writing process like? Did you come up with your title first? I know you said that your friend gave you that title, but how did it work? Did you build around the manuscript or vice versa?
Well, I did an outline. I reflected on the people that helped me to be the person that I am now. I felt like it was very important to put those people into the story.
Of
I did
course.
the outline, reflected on what they had done, and actually what each person brought in their own individuality. My father, with his military service, how he helped me to, um, envision my own service. My mother's faith, her unwavering faith, even to this day. My grandmother, whose strength is something that's just, I know that I pull upon all the time. I reflect upon her strength as an African American woman. So I want to make sure that I included the information and build the book around those people in my life. And definitely want to talk about military service because there's things I talk about in my service, to this day that people still, don't really know about. They're not really familiar. So I think to be able to come from the perspective of an African American woman and talk about the military was definitely something that's needed. So I
Yeah.
think it was definitely an enjoyable process for me. I definitely pulled upon my experience of going to graduate school twice. So I knew about writing. So I think all of that just kind of brought it all together.
Awesome. When you go back and you go from page one to the end, what would you say is the message that you want everyone to take away from your work?
Definitely maintain your faith. Um,
Okay.
Maintain your supporters, your support system. Always hold on to, them. Thank them all the time. Maintain that relate those relationships. Cultivate those relationships. Always believe in what God can do for you. Believe in yourself. Don't give up, no matter what it looks like, because oftentimes we tend to make judgments or move in a way because of what something looks like. You can't always believe in what it looks like. You have to maintain
Right.
your faith and walk in that realm.
Yes, maintain your faith. Awesome lesson. Can you share three takeaways you would like? I know we set the message for everyone, but let's specifically talk to women right now. What three takeaways you want women to walk away with?
Definitely, prayer is important. Through everything
Mhm.
that you're doing, prayer is important. I pray with my son. I pray with
Yes.
my husband, my family members. We sometimes we'll call each other when we pray over the phone. Prayer is essential,
Yeah.
and having that relationship, with God. I think that's extremely important as an African American woman. I think it's extremely important. Um, Build those relationships, cultivate those relationships that you have,
Yeah.
with people, and continue to believe in what you have to bring to the table. And there are things that people show you. Uh, Believe in signs. Sometimes things aren't for you. Sometimes they are for you. Just
Yeah.
continue to use that discernment that you have, and walk with that.
Yes. Yes. Great takeaways. Great takeaways. Um, at any moment during your writing process, did you experience writer's block or what like and what tips do you have for overcoming that?
Writer's block is, I think, something that practically every writer, every author has had it at some point in time.
Yeah.
You have to be patient with the process. If you get writer's block, give yourself a break, step back, and then go back into it once you feel inspired again. Don't get discouraged. Definitely don't give up on your work. Believing that your work in your book will come to fruition, and continue to walk in that.
Yes. Great, great. So you're saying just take a moment.
Take a
It'll
moment.
come back.
It'll come.
Take a moment. Yes.
Absolutely.
Take me through the first moment you held that book in your hand.
Ooh,
Um, what did that do for you? What did that feel like?
I felt like I was looking at my legacy. I was looking at a work that my grandsons could have, and they could
Yeah.
talk about their grandmother. They could get some inspiration, and really believe in where they came from, and they can have that as a work that they can talk about, with other family members, with friends, and that they can have this forever, and they could cherish that and be inspired in things that they want to do in the future when they become young men. They can be inspired at, look at what my grandmother did, and this is what maybe I can
Yes.
do in the future.
Yes. I can only imagine what that feeling was like for you.
It was
What would you
amazing.
say? Yeah, I bet. I bet. What would you say was the most challenging part of the whole writing process?
Mm. Ooh, I would definitely say that maybe going in with deciding which direction I wanted to go. That
Okay.
was it, right? And but it actually came as the more information that you put into the book, you will see what direction you need to go to. So I would definitely say continue writing. Don't get discouraged if it doesn't build immediately. Continue to write, and the story will build. You
That's
have
so
to
real.
just put more information into it, and you will see the story come to be. Just don't stop
Awesome.
writing.
Yes. What key tips do you have for the marketing process and marketing your book to get it out to the masses? What was your techniques and what do you suggest?
Well, I'm very blessed and fortunate to have an amazing publisher, Mr. Timothy Bond, who was referred to me by a coalition sister. And
Awesome.
yes, that's I think that's most important and key. If you can get a good publisher behind you, I think that's everything, because he still teaches me. It's been 2 years. He still teaches me about social media, what content to put out there, how you want your book marketed, things like that. He even has classes that he has with the authors, and he'll continue to teach what information that you need to put out there and what's the best marketing tips for your book. So I've definitely learned through Mr. Bond. He's definitely helped me tremendously.
Awesome. Awesome. So getting a good publisher
Yes,
is the foundation.
absolutely.
Yes. What audience would you say your book is for specifically?
Christians, veterans, mothers, fathers, young people, definitely. People that may have an interest in joining the service. Um,
Okay.
just about anyone, I feel, because my book has so many different stories within the book that there's something for everybody. And that's what I
That's
really like
that's a
about the
plus.
book. And I even read it myself. I'll go back and I'm thinking, wow, I'm really glad that this type of story is there for everybody, because you have something that you can enjoy.
Yes. How are you? I know you said that your publisher has classes and you're able to learn and you're
Yes.
being taught how to put content out. But what are you currently using social media for? Like, how are you setting yourself apart on social media?
I'll put, well, I have an Instagram account. I'll put videos about, what it's like to be a veteran. That's a story right there. I'll put
Yes.
pictures of my family there, because I'm a mother and a grandmother, and so that's important as well. I'll put different aspects of the Army, what it's like being a
Yeah.
veteran, what I do now. People, I think people really want to see that, because it's a continuing story. War after the military. I've been retired now for 9 years, but it's still a process. I'm still learning things about myself, and I'm still enjoying the journey.
Awesome.
Mhm.
So, when following you and connecting with you on social media, your readers are able to go through the journey with you.
Yes,
Because, like you said, you share things about your book, you share things about the military, you
yes,
share things about what you're doing now, as well as family life. So, they
yes,
really get a chance to see the transparent you.
absolutely.
I
In
love
fact,
that.
this year, me and my husband will be celebrating our 20th anniversary. So
Yes.
that's a story right there in itself. Mm.
Awesome. And it's a blessing to be able to see 20 years.
Absolutely.
Yes. Share with us the people or companies that helped create your amazing project. I know you gave credit to your publisher. Was there anyone else that was influential?
True Vine Publishing,
True
and
Crime Publishing.
a good friend of mine named Clyde Pogue. I worked at Operation Stand Down, which is an organization that helps veterans. Clyde Pogue came to our organization and he put on a class about um, people that are, struggling through trauma. He's a social worker and he's very good. He's been in the business, I think, like over 30 years. And so he put on this class about people struggling with trauma. So
Okay.
the homeless veterans, that's their story. A lot of them are suffering through trauma, and that's how they become homeless. So Clyde's definitely instrumental, and he's also a church member. Him and his wife Donna
That's
attend my
amazing.
church, and his story was very instrumental in me writing my book, because I was able to go back and speak with him about his journey, his life, and what he's had to bring and what he's had to go through. And he's also a veteran, so he was very important in the process.
Yes.
Mhm.
So you had that connection to draw back to.
Absolutely,
I love that.
absolutely.
Tell us a few misconceptions that you hear or have encountered from people wanting to become an author.
I think generally people think that the process is very difficult, and I would say that's definitely a fallacy. I think if you have a story and that you have a passion for that story, I think you can definitely go through the process and write a book. You can't believe the naysayers. You can't believe the people who are going to talk about, oh, you can't do that. Because if I believe people that said I couldn't write a book, I probably wouldn't be sitting here today. I had to be able
Right.
to believe in the process.
Yes, yes. So you're saying, I know it can be challenging,
Yes,
but getting started is really all you really got to do. So
exactly.
I get that. I get that. Where do you hope to see your book next? It's been 2 years. You have you have put your book out there. So many people have encountered your stories. What is next for you?
I think my book is a movie. I think
Yeah,
it's a lifetime story. I think it's a story that needs to be told. There are a lot of African American women in the service, but you don't really hear about those stories. So
yeah,
I really feel like it could be developed into a movie, and I think that people would be amazed at the different things that women have to go through in the service. And I think the story is interesting, and I think it's definitely deserving of that type of platform. And I would definitely love to see something like that happen.
yes. That would be amazing. If you could go through the process all over again,
Hmm.
is there anything you would change?
Mm, no, because I probably didn't want to have a different outcome. I'm happy with the outcome, very pleased with the outcome. So there's nothing I would have changed.
Yes, I'm glad to hear that.
Hmm.
I'm glad to hear that.
Hmm.
Um, this has been eye opening. Um, my last question for you would definitely be, as a black author,
Hmm.
as a female author,
Yes.
um, what would you say is the key to just getting started, sharing your story, and not letting people stop you? What would be the key to just going?
You've got to find your passion. My passion is definitely helping people, helping veterans, inspiring my family, leaving a legacy. If you find your passion, you
Yeah,
won't let anything stop you. You have to
nothing.
find that passion. Absolutely.
Yes. How can people listening in connect with you and purchase your book?
Well, you can
War
go
After
to my
the series.
website, www.tammieotukwu.com. I'm also on Instagram, Tammie055. I'm on Facebook and I'm on LinkedIn. So definitely reach out to
Yes, you're
me.
everywhere.
Definitely purchase a copy of the book. I think you'll be delighted in the story. It's very entertaining. It's very interesting. I think there's some things in the book that you will find it's probably surprising, but definitely I think it's worth the purchase of the book.
Yes. Tonight, for someone who has listened in, for someone watching, and someone who may review this later, I want you to understand that you have a story. I like to believe that everyone has a story. Everyone has a testimony that needs to be shared with the world. And Tammie is that example, is that inspiration, that motivation for all of us who haven't wrote yet, or you've wrote one book and you're like, I don't have anything else to share. You do. There's something on the inside of you that needs to be shared. There's someone listening who needs your story. So I want this episode to serve as your inspiration. I want this episode to serve as a motivation to you to write, to write. Whatever you've been through in life, I want you to take that and share it. I want you to, listening in, leave us a comment. I want you to email us, connect with Tammie, and let her know, you know what, because of this episode, I was able to start my story. And I'm sure she'll be delighted to hear about your testimony. Go grab War After the Military. Go grab it. It's available on her site. Connect with her on social media. She said she's on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. She has her website. Connect, connect, connect. If you're a veteran listening, thank you for your service. Let Tammie's story be the inspiration you need to share your experience. Like she said, this book is for females, but not only just, everyone, but for female veterans as well. Let the world know that there are people like you. There's a story inside of you. Let people know that you have overcame what you went through. You have persevered. And we want this episode to serve as that inspiration for everyone listening in. Thank you, Tammie.
Thank you.
Thank you.